I'm actually going to be splitting this drawing into two parts. I think that I'm just going to stick with the line art for this first portion and then do the shading in the next one. The idea behind this whole piece is using monochromatic values to challenge myself in how I shade. If you look at comic book art, there's a lot of usage of ink or the black value in order to create the image, and I really love that when I look at it, and when I try to do it myself with ink, I just chicken out and I can't do it. So this is kind of a practice round where I'm doing it digitally so that I can really play around and change things, and I guess know how to play with that technique a little bit better when it's something more permanent like ink. So I really found myself wanting to keep the gesture of this sketch. I did the sketch later late at night. I just had the idea come to me and I wanted to go ahead and get it down before I forgot about it. So I'm working from a sketch that I had already done before I started this drawing session. I did it really quickly. I did everything loose and kind of fast, and I feel like that really helped the sketch look dynamic. With that in mind, I wanted to really try to maintain that feeling. And I've noticed a lot of people saying that they feel like their sketches look better than their finished drawings. And I think there are a few ways to kind of address that when you're working on stuff. One of which is learning how to do gesture drawing. When I say gesture, it's a particular technique where you draw things very loosely, and gesture drawing doesn't have to be necessarily representative. It can just be a bunch of scribbles. That's a good place to start out with to really get used to doing loose lines like that. You can take that skill that you build up when you work on gesture drawings and apply that to things that come from your head. Things are loose, they're not really pre-planned in the sketch, they're very fluid. You put your pencil down and you draw your line, and you don't sketch back and forth, you just do everything in one fluid motion. Translating that loose quality into your final image is going to give you nice results. Something I can recommend is keeping a loose hand and loose wrist while you're drawing. Try not to get too tense or stiff with your hand. I know that can be a pitfall for a lot of people who are trying to ink, is that they get very rigid when they're trying to draw, and I definitely recognize that, but try being very loose. And I know this is going to sound really weird, like how you're not really going to know how to do it. I definitely didn't when people were like, you're drawing too tight, you're drawing too tense. Something to try is, if you've ever done that pencil trick where you try to wiggle your pencil and it looks rubbery, keep your wrist about that loose and see what happens when you're drawing. You might find that your finished drawing favors the sketch that you did in the first place, and you like it a lot more than when you're trying to ink everything stiffly. Take it slow. The sketch is where you go fast, the ink is where you go slow. That's it for this quick video for this week. I will continue with this drawing next week. I'll talk about how to work monochromatically with a set limited number of hues, and how to plan value and shading when you're working on a piece of art. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in the next video.